Thank you so much, Rajesh, for joining us for this brief interview today. How are you doing?
Good. Working from home has been fun. A different experience altogether. Yeah.
Quite fun. And we're also, rolling out, of course, various press releases and stuff like that. I see there was one which just came out, a couple of days ago from one of our partners on some 5G equipment deal and stuff like that. So can you tell me a little bit more about your experience on this and what's really cooking, basically?
Yeah, sure. So maybe just for everyone's benefit, I'll just spend a couple of minutes on defining what Accesssolution's organization is, right? So this was obviously defined late December, and it was primarily to focus our efforts on developing products that are cutting edge and that are going to define the networks of the future. We will need to scale networks to support the ever-increasing demand. And so for operators, for customers that are building these networks and evolving the networks to the next generation, it becomes extremely imperative to have scalable networks.
If you were to simplify this in a way, what are the problems that you think that we are trying to resolve? And what have we done so far in this area? What do you have to say on this?
Sure. So so just to continue that, so basically we are the real pain points that we have from the customer perspective is vendor lock-in, right? So today you have to buy several of these infrastructure components from the same vendor, and essentially we're disrupting that. We are taking our solutions from a software approach with white box solutions, third-party infrastructure players that we can then integrate our software with. And that sort of really disrupts the incumbency. And to me, that is the fundamental change in the way even operators are thinking today, right? They've been tied to the legacy infrastructure providers, and for various reasons that has been the norm. So this is a complete change in paradigm, and our investment in ASOC simply sort of validates that belief and our approach to this, this mobile edge, for 5G.
This has been challenging. I mean, what were the challenges that you mentioned about some of the challenges that we are trying to resolve and overcome? But why has it been so challenging so far?
It's a great question. So, I mean, a lot of it is just evolution in terms of compute and the ability to run, large cores of processors that can handle, vast amounts of data. So for these, you really have to have, the compute and storage capabilities at the edge, which is what is driving this whole mobile edge, as we call it, the edge solutions. That there's a lot of noise around that. Is because a lot of the compute and processing that used to be centralized in the central office, the regional centers, are now being pushed very much to the edge. There's everybody's in sort of the same boat. We're about a few months apart from some of our other maybe competitors, as you want to call it, but in the ecosystem is still evolving.
Absolutely. Also, if I were to relate it with a situation, for example, in the current situation of COVID, in the lockdown, everyone is working from home. But if I were to relate it with one example in real life, which we have resolved or we are in the works of resolving or something like that, would you like to highlight that? Maybe?
Customer pain points. We are in the business of providing connectivity. That's what we've been doing. Now we're evolving to other forms of delivering, better networks, right? So, to us, relieving customer pain points is a fundamental problem that we're trying to resolve. The challenge is to bring reliable broadband connectivity to every home, every apartment in the country. It's as much as a utility, right? To me, broadband connectivity at home is part of a utility that is fundamental to one's survival. So, and when we bring these solutions out, what we are essentially doing is we're enabling operators to leverage multiple an ecosystem of solution partners, vendors, and with PFTTX, with the virtualized RAN. We are sort of establishing that realm for STL first, and then of course with our partners, our customers as well.
Perfect. And speaking of people in STL, who do you think you would attribute this to within your team or outside of your team at STL? Who are the people who are really holding the fort?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been very fortunate, to have a really strong team, strong-willed, I would say, and very committed team. And there are some great leaders in the organization. And I think I should mention the names because it's important that the rest of the organization knows them by name. This requires a lot of brainstorming, whiteboarding, and human interaction, sitting in one room, huddling, and figuring out how to do things. But with the tools that they have and within the limits that they're all working with, they still sort of overcome that, and they're still chugging along. So I think that needs to be highlighted, because it's very easy to just kind of fall back and say, you know what, I'll come back to it when things go back to normal. But I can, that's really, that shows character, it shows commitment, and I'm really proud.
So what, apart from the team, what else is that you are proud of STL, given now that we are, moving into this and pouring into developing cutting-edge capabilities in virtual mobile solution? What is that really, is stuck?
If I had to mention, it's the vision, right? It comes from the top. It's the vision. It's where you want to go to, and I've been really fortunate. The leadership coming together around, building this whole, Accesssolutions portfolio and the vision to take it forward into this space, and also to establish this as a program within the organization. It's to me that was a really good.
Absolutely, needless to say that. What any specific learning that you would like to give out through this, interview to the team or for people, for them to really learn from, from the experience of yours, that we would do either differently or something that we have done greatly? What is your point of view on
driving the processes putting the processes in place, and providing the right resources at the right time? Enabling the teams to be able to execute, would have maybe helped us be ahead of where we are. We've all brainstormed together on what's the right way to do it. There's a much more structure and governance around it.
What is the one last thing that you'd like to say before we end this discussion, Rajesh?
Yeah, I think, for a lot of folks that have heard a lot of these things, have heard of ASOC's investment, they've seen VVDN, they've heard of the VMware partnership. I can assure you that in the coming weeks, in the coming months, that clarity will come. I think we will bring a lot of this internally. We will have a lot of, if you want to call it webinars or knowledge sharing sessions. That's my my goal, to be able to share that information and be more transparent in what we're doing. So, and with that.
No, it's fabulous, of course. I mean, we all have great conviction about this, so needless to say that. But on that note, thank you so very much for spending time with us today. Rajesh, it is always a pleasure, and keep doing great things like you always do.
Thanks, Alok. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to everyone. Yeah, really appreciate it.